Hello guys. Boy, it's a great day to be alive here at the Buffalo Range. We've got the sun coming down. Still got some snow on the ground, but it's going away quickly. And with that sun shining and this bright snow, I don't know how this El Cheapo camera that I picked up is going to react with all this harsh light. So what I'll do as I'm talking here, I'll supplement with some pictures as we go along, which I usually supplement with photos anyway. I think it's a great way to show what I'm talking about while I'm going. But what we're going to talk about today, you know, there's plenty of reviews on the Glock 34. This one's a 34 Gen 4. There's plenty of reviews out there on them. We're going to talk about why that I chose that gun instead of just going into detailed what's it weigh, barrel length, all that stuff. Number one thing, I was in need of a range gun, a range toy, if you will. Now I know guns aren't toys. No need to leave a nasty comment, but to me that's what it is. It's a range toy. I got it for me to have something to tinker around with and make some changes, experiment with things I wouldn't necessarily do on my carry gun. And the 34 is a great platform, if you will, to do that on. And I also got it to play games with, like a USPSA, IPSC, Steel Challenge, IDPA, maybe even 3-gun one of these days. Who knows, you know, what I'll get into. But it's legal for all those games. Take a look at it here. Like I say, I'll drop some photos in as I'm talking. Back to what I was saying about customizing. I can do things with this gun and not have to worry about reliability issues as much as on my carry gun, so I can experiment with different things. I did install a ZF Technologies trigger on this gun here a while back, and I really like it. It's adjustable for you can adjust the pre-travel out and the over-travel out. The trigger is lighter than the factory trigger. I'm pulling about 3.5 pounds right now, which with the factory trigger I was at about 5 pounds. Even though they advertised the Glock as having a lighter trigger, it still pulls about 5 pounds factory, or this one did. Can't speak for all of them, but I did put that trigger in there. It's a ZF Technologies Fulcrum trigger assembly. Just simple as popping out a few pins, pulling out the old trigger assembly, dropping in the new one, putting your pins back. Real simple. I like where that's going. I've also added a set of Talon grips. These are the granulated grips. I've always wanted to try those, but I always, you know, in my mind, that sandpaper look was just going to be too rough, especially doing dry fire practice over and over and over. I thought it would be too rough. It hasn't been. It's been great. I probably will add these over onto my carry guns. I also added the Dawson Precision sights. These are target sights. They're not concealed carry sights. They've got a lot of sharp edges. They are serrated to keep the light down, but that's another thing you don't have to worry about. With your concealed gun, you want rounded, melted edges. With the target sights, you can get that good, crisp, sharp sight picture and not have to worry about snagging on anything. Of course, these are they are longer than the Glock 17. The frame is the same. They are a little longer. And this one being a Gen 4, it does come with the different back straps that you can add, or the beaver tail, which I like the naked grip best of all. I've never had any trouble with slide bite on a Glock, so I don't need the beaver tail. Just, to me, it's just extra bells and whistles that personally I really didn't need. I guess it would be handy if you had super large hands or whatever and you needed that, but I didn't. It does have the longer barrel, longer slide, which gives you a longer sight radius than, say, the 17. I like the fact that they beveled the corners on the front end of the slide, so that when you start the gun in your holster, it'll drop right in. Instead of, you know, if you caught the edge of your holster with the squared off slide, you could kind of stub yourself there. But with the rounded off, it's kind of like having a beveled mag well. You know, they'll just find their way right in, same way going into the holster. The gun has turned out to be really well balanced. Glock did a great job balancing this gun. The long slide with the light polymer frame really gives it a good, just a good feel when you're shooting it. I guess the extra sight radius helps some too. Now the other reason that, you know, you say, well, you can get all these features on other guns too. Why not choose something besides Glock? Well, the other reason I chose Glock is because I carry a Glock. That's my everyday carry gun. So I want to kind of keep, I love to get different products. I love trying different things, but at the same time, I wanted to stick with something I know. Now, I'm not a Glock expert by any means, but I do know my way around them. I've carried this one for 11 years. I do know my way around them enough to where, you know, I feel like if something did go wrong, I could figure it out on my own and get it taken care of. Whereas if I went with a different manufacturer, I would have to be kind of starting all over again. You know, there's some other great guns out there in this category, this competition style category. You know, you've got the M&P I really love. I got a friend of mine who went with the M&P, and it's just a fantastic little pistol. He put an Apex trigger in it, and it rock and rolls, man, let me tell you. But it's nothing against other manufacturers. I just stuck with what I know personally. Kind of cut my teeth on Glock pistols when I was coming of pistol owning age, where I could buy my own guns, you know, when I turned 21, in other words. Glocks were kind of on top of the market. They were the polymer pistol. I think the other guns have really closed the gap on them now, especially that M&P. As far as quality goes, it's just personal taste, whichever one you want to go with. But I chose the Glock for those reasons. Now, I'll tell you what, I've got the GoPro down here with me. Let's put the GoPro on and do a little shooting. Alright guys, I don't know if I mentioned it or not when I had the other camera on, but this gun does come with 3 magazines instead of just 2 like the Gen 3s do. Let's dirty up some paint. Alright. Well, that mag went fast. It's alright. I've got some more loaded up here. Let's back that up a little bit. I'm at the 20-yard marker now. That was a 10 yards. Let's go on back to 30. Got my yardage marked off down here with pins, and here's my 30-yard pin. You can see those targets getting a little further away now. Man, 17 rounds don't last very long. Don't want to drop my magazines in the snow if you're wondering why I'm not just letting them fall. I don't want to have to dig them back out. Alright, let's back on up here to 40 yards. Targets are starting to get a little small now. I have to slow down and concentrate. Tell you what, guys, let's back on up and see if I can hit some of these at 100 yards. Alright guys, here's a little pin I've got set at 100 yards. I don't normally shoot from 100 yards, but it's kind of outside of my little range I've got set up there. But just for fun sometimes, I like to see if I can hit them from out here. Let's try to put one on that biggest center plate. Oh yeah. Really have to take my time out here. It's all about trigger control. Really takes discipline. We're ringing it now. Alright, I hope the GoPro's picking that up from here. But 100 yards is about as far as I can go without getting back here to where I'm starting to upset the neighbors. So we'll go back up here and finish off a few more rounds. So many rounds I've got left here. Looks like I've got about 9 rounds left. Let's burn through them here pretty quick. Had 10. Alright guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys again soon.